Welcome to this mini Ask Earl Anything. This is going to be a new segment of mine where I answer one question from a viewer and we break it down on the drum kit. It's usually going to be a technical question. And today's question comes from Edward Kaminsky, who asks the question, do you need rudiments to play drums? Now the answer to that question is no. You don't need rudiments to play drums, but the truth of the matter is it's actually yes. You do need to know some basics if you really want to be a halfway decent beginner drummer. See, anybody can play boom, chack. I see kids do it all the time. They don't know what they're doing. They have no hand technique. They're not practicing things that make any sense, but they can make a beat sound out there. And I see a lot of kids that do that, and a lot of older people that can do that. But I think if you want to go past being a beginner, you need some rudiments. So I'm going to talk about 3 rudiments that are really important, and then I'm going to do some variations and some soloing to apply these rudiments. But the 3 basic rudiments are single stroke rolls, double stroke rolls, and paradiddles. Now, there's multiple types of paradiddles. Okay, and in actuality, a paradiddle is nothing more than a breaking up of a singles and doubles. So if you learn how to do singles, okay, you work on singles, you learn how to do doubles, you learn how to mix them together, you end up making paradiddles. Now, some of my favorite drummers are great at actually utilizing these rudiments that come out of the paradiddles. Those drummers would be drummers like Steve Gadd, Buddy Rich, and Danny Seraphin. But most great drummers utilize those rudiments and more to make great fills and great music. Now, I'm going to primarily be talking about those 3 rudiments, and I'm also going to show you how to apply them into some basic grooves as well. So let's just open this up and let's talk about singles. When I talk about singles, I'm talking about right, left. That's all I'm talking about. So the key, whenever you practice, is to have your hands in the best position possible. Now, I'm not an expert on hands, so I'm not giving you a hands lesson. But the basic hands, if I'm teaching a kid how to play drums, is to put the fulcrum on the index finger and the thumb. Now, if you get more advanced, you may get into other concepts, like you will see me doing a concept where I use the middle fingers on the stick and wrap the index finger around it. And you'll see it if you watch my videos. You'll see sometimes this index finger gets off the stick and I'm cupping it this way. Now, that's a technique, and I've seen a lot of pros using it. I was watching Chad Wackerman talking about that technique. But let's just talk about basics. So basics, I start kids like this, and you have to do what I call my simple single practice method. And it's very simple, and it goes like this. 2, 3, 4. Now, variations of that would be to add in 16th notes if you want to go up to 16th notes and pick up the speed. Now, I do recommend working with a metronome. I'm not pulling a metronome into this today. What we're doing today is I'm just showing you some basics. So this is just basic singles. Now, the usefulness of the single stroke roll is apparent when you do a basic rock groove and a fill, your first fill that everybody does. By the way, My first formal teacher, who I had for 2 weeks, and that's a long story in itself, which I won't go into on this short Ask Earl Anything, but he showed me this crazy going around the drum kit fill. 1 eanda, 2 eanda, 3 eanda, 4 eanda on the kick drum. To this day, I don't play it clean. I don't play it as fast as I like, but it's still something I kind of throw in and work on. And truthfully, he basically said that's the first basic fill. And I was a kid who was already playing the boom boom jang, the boom boom jang, digga 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 digga, and he basically wanted me to work on coming around the kit and getting more out of my kick drum. So as you can see, rudiments can be broken up in different ways. They don't have to only be on the hands, they can also be in your feet. That's another way of looking at it. And I will show you a different one of that using a paradiddle in a minute. Let's talk about the double stroke roll. The double stroke roll is right, right, left, left. That's it. And I'm going to use the same basic pattern to demonstrate practicing the double stroke roll. Now, practice that on a pad. That's something I've been doing forever. It's one of my little warm-ups I do sometimes. So it's needed. So now you've worked on singles and doubles. Now you got to put them together. The natural putting them together is right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. That is called a paradiddle. Paradiddles are not hard. You just got to work on them and you work your speed up. All these things, you start slow and you work your speed up. That's the key to this whole thing. So if I'm teaching beginners, I work with doing singles to doubles to paradiddles. So let me show you the basic paradiddle. Now the paradiddle is something that you also can use in your first time you want to start working on a more complicated groove than boom, boom, bop, bop, right? And this was one of the exercises in the Carmen Appice book that I learned pretty quick. And it is basically a paradiddle between the right foot and left hand. Now I'm teaching from the right perspective. Of course, if you're a lefty, flip everything around, start with your left to the right. I will also say this. Great drummers work these things both left start and right start. I work a lot on left start and right start. I'm working on my dominant today. My dominant is my right. It's for beginners. Let's do a paradiddle groove. Those are the 3 main rudiments. Now from that, you can start playing a lot of other things. There's another great rudiment called a 6-stroke roll, or some people call it a paradiddle diddle. I basically play that when I'm doing swing tunes, and it goes like this. Now, that particular rudiment is something that's used when you're playing swing grooves or shuffles. It's a triplet thing. So playing triplets and doing that, I used to call it a paradiddle diddle. Some people have told me it's actually a 6-stroke roll. Truthfully, when I did it, I didn't even know what the heck I called it. It's just something I picked up playing Danny Seraphin, to be honest. And Danny Serafin admits to not knowing what he was doing either, but he was basically breaking up paradiddles and double strokes, and he called them stick tricks in his book and his video. So if you ever watch the Danny Serafin instructional video, you'll hear him talk about stick tricks. And what he's talking about is how he broke up singles and doubles and paradiddles and these different things he came up with. So I'm going to do something to end this segment on Do You Need Rudiments? I'm going to do it in a more swing setting, and I'm going to play some solos and some things. So thank you for the question, Edward. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate y'all being subscribers. If you got a question, ask it for Ask Earl Mini or Ask Earl Anything. I am going to be doing full shows too. I appreciate it all, so I'm going to play us out. Have a great day. Bye.